Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. It's another beautiful Monday. Did you have fun over the weekend? Was the weather nice where you are? We had a lot of rain here, and that's typical in the fall. It's cold here, but it isn't nearly as cold as it's going to be. I want to talk to you about relativity. Now, of course, there's the theory of relativity, which you may have heard of, but even further than that, I want to put it in your mind to think of something as it relates to something else. You may say, I'm poor and I have nothing. Well, that's a relative term because there are people in the world who have no place to live. They have no means of buying clothes. They are not only are they homeless, but a lot of them are malnourished. They don't they don't get enough food to eat. And I know there are people who abuse the system, but I want to encourage your heart today to be grateful for anything and everything that you have. That means the good and the bad. We've talked before on this channel, and we will certainly again, that even the bad things can be used for our good somehow. I've told you before, God is the ultimate lemonade maker. Whatever you may think is so bad and so terrible, it might just be a relative term because someone always has it worse off than you do, no matter who you are. My mother told me a story when I was a little boy. She said, son, I used to complain about my leg hurting so bad. And then I saw a man who had no legs. True story. And she said, I quit complaining about my legs. She said, then I had some pain in my hands from the arthritis as she grew older, especially. And she said, but then I saw a lady making bread and she didn't have but like half of her arms. She said, I thank God for, even with the pain, I still thank God for those hands. Well, that's a relative term. Now, as it relates to something else, you could say, well, I don't have any money. Well, we've talked before about the poor of America and the poor of the world. Um, it's kind of a relative term because if you live in a city full of millionaires, not that you do, but I mean, if you live in a very wealthy neighborhood and God forbid, but if you lose your home and have to move to, let's say, an apartment that's maybe half the size of what your home was, and you think, oh man, I'm so poor. Now, I know you may not say that out loud, but I know people who do feel that way. And they just need reminded that there are people in this world that truly are poor. They really have nothing. So I want to encourage your heart not only to be grateful for your own benefit, but to also pray for people who truly are poor. And again, it's relative. Don't judge someone for stressing out over their situation just because they have more than you do. They might be in a more dangerous situation than you realize. It's all relative. Um, I'm not going to lose $1 million because I don't have $1 million to lose. But if a billionaire loses $1 million, then he or she may get depressed and sad and say, oh man, I'm going broke. Well, not really, but it may seem like that to them. So have compassion. Have compassion on people. And remember that everything is relative. We'll talk more about relativity in the future. Okay? And I hope your week is wonderful. If you ever feel alone in this world, you're just not. And if you ever feel unloved, you're not, because I love you. Have an awesome week. God bless you and your family. Bye-bye for now.